Hello, welcome to Assay TV. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Kelly Malcolm, who is VP of Exploration at Amex Exploration. Kelly, great to see you this evening. You're joining us from Toronto there, where I believe you're a bit locked down.
I'm very much locked down, and it's very much the morning for me here, Leo.
Well, good to see you anyway.
Thanks for having me on, I appreciate it.
Very busy year you've had for Amex. We talked a few months ago. You were right in the middle of a very busy drilling campaign. Tell us, the Perron Gold Project up there, over there in Quebec. What have you been doing this year? A lot of drilling, yeah?
So we've had one of the most active drilling programs for any junior exploration company in all of Canada. We started the year in 2019 with 3 drills. Mm-hmm. We ended it with 10 on site, and we are starting 2020 with 10 actively working right now. Which is one of the bigger programs in the entirety of Canada, which is really exciting. It's really busy, but it yields a lot of results very quickly, which is really fun for investors as well.
Absolutely. And how many meters have you actually drilled this year?
2019, we're at the end of 2000, sorry, wow, my years are all messed up with the new year. By the end of 2020, we've done about 125,000 meters on the project since discovery of the Eastern Gold Zone. We aim to do about 120 to 150,000 by year end 2021. So it will be very busy, which is really fun for me.
Fantastic. And there's 3 main zones there you're looking at, isn't there? There's the Eastern Gold Zone, the Gratian, and the Greycat. Eastern Gold Zone, your main focus this year?
Eastern Gold Zone is, I would say on a percentage basis, yes, our main focus. And that's really comprised of 2 different zones. 2 different styles. You get a high-grade zone, which is aptly called the Highgrade Zone, which is very high-grade, deep mineralization. And then also associated with that Eastern Gold Zone is something that we call the Denny Zone, which is much lower grade, much larger in terms of widths. And we think the 2 of them are really synergistic because the Denny Zone looks like it wants to be an open pit style deposit. And when exploiting that Denny Zone, you're also going to be incorporating the upper portion of the high-grade zone as well, which would potentially lead to some really interesting economics for exploitation there.
Absolutely. And the high-grade zone, you've been drilling to depth this year, I believe. How far down have you gone?
On an announced basis, in terms of what we've received back from the assay lab, 1.1 kilometers. But we've done we've drilled down quite a bit deeper than that as well. And on a visual basis, it looks quite attractive. So we're waiting on assay results. As I'm sure you've heard from many other companies, the labs are quite delayed at the moment with everyone so busy, plus the double whammy of COVID. So we're currently waiting on about 10,000 samples. So we've got a lot of news coming at us quickly from work we've done already. And we will continue drilling that down deeper in 2021.
And what sort of grades have you been hitting down there?
Offhand, about 35 grams over 3.5 meters or so on our deepest hole. Don't quote me on that directly, but we've been hitting multi-ounce material, basically from surface down to a depth over 1 kilometer. And the really neat thing about the high-grade zone, and something that's kind of unique to Amex, is the consistency and repeatability of these high grades, which it's pretty rare. Most exploration companies every once in a while are able to drill one of these sort of ounce plus over reasonable width intervals. But the thing that's unique to Amex is our ability to do it again and again and again. And it's not just in one small pod of the overall mineralization. It's over the entirety of that vertical extent, which is something that's unique and something that investors have caught on to, as well as a number of different mining companies that have been looking at it as well.
And you've also, as you said, you've got the Denny Zone sort of towards the top, an potential open pit there.
Yeah, Denny is really interesting. So what's neat about that one in particular is the discovery of the high-grade zone was actually made by drilling for the Denny Zone. So the original discovery was made on the backs of an IP geophysical anomaly. And Denny it's such a large system full of sulfides, full of alteration, that it was a really strong geophysical target. And thankfully, when we were drilling that target, we drilled from the north through to the south. And that's when we drilled through the high-grade zone. And as we started discovering and working on the high-grade zone, we kind of put Denise on the back burner, and a lot of our holes were actually stopped short of Denise because our main focus was drilling off that high-grade zone as quickly and aggressively as possible. And then towards the middle of last year, we actually went back in and extended a number of our holes from 2019, and we had really fantastic results. And actually, if you look at our news releases over the past 4 or 5 months, you'll see a lot of the holes are called PE20 XYZ-EXT, and the EXT is actually the extension. And we had some really fantastic results from those. So it's always exciting and always a good idea to reinterpret your old data because you sometimes come up with some really great surprises.
Absolutely. And at Gratian and Greycat, what have you been doing this year?
We've been working them less aggressively as the Eastern Gold Zone. We just had a planning meeting yesterday with our technical team. So we will be doing a pretty sizable program on those two as well, sort of in the range of 15 to 20,000 meters, as we want to incorporate them in our maiden resource. So we'd like to be able to include the Eastern Gold Zone, Greycat, and Gratian all in this sort of global resource that we do when we launch that towards the end of 2021.
Right, so that's the timeline. Is it end of 2021? You're hoping to put out a maiden resource on the project?
Hoping to launch it. Sort of our cutoff date will be end of November, and then either get it out towards the end of the year or very early in 2022.
And you also, I believe, have some sort of regional exploration potential as well. There's a wider land package that you're looking into, yeah?
Absolutely. We've only really tested, when you look at the overall, I'm sure you can pop a graphic in here, Leo, but when you look at the overall package, we've got two faults. We've got the Perron fault to the south and the Normetal fault to the north, and they sort of meet in this wedge-shaped feature. And most of the work we've done in the past historically has been focused on the southern fault, and only a very small portion, about 3.2 kilometers of that structure has really been drilled thoroughly. So we've got a number of exploration targets. We're doing about 20,000 meters of regional exploration work, and our technical team has a really good handle now on what constitutes gold-bearing structures and what are good drill targets now on this project. So we're very excited about that program and really can't wait to get that ramped up and get that going and start following up on some older historical exploration work that we've done that looks really encouraging as well.
But and how are you paying for all of this? I mean, there's a lot of drilling there. That's pretty expensive stuff. But you've been able to raise some money this year, despite the.
We've got actually 2020 was. It sounds bad to say, but on a global sort of political and health front, it was a terrible year for the world. But in the junior equity space, honestly, the gold market has really never been stronger. So we raised significant capital over the year. We closed as of our last financials, there was about $39 million of cash in the bank for Amex. We raised a little over $24 million through the year 2020, along with a number of shareholders exercised large warrant positions, bringing in around $5 million as well. We're in a really good financial position going into the year. Probably definitely the strongest we've ever been going into the new year. So we're in a great position, fully funded for our 10 drill program, and looking forward to continuing to advance it.
Absolutely. And you mentioned earlier, obviously, there's a bit of a backlog in the assay labs at the moment. Also, drilling rigs. Have you've been able to procure enough for your campaign?
Yeah, to actually get the last. So we had 6, and we upsized to 10 around the beginning of the fall of 2020, and it was actually difficult to obtain them originally. But now that we've got them on site. It's a pretty stellar contract for most drill contractors. So we've got some very happy drilling companies on our project. We've actually got 2 different companies operating for us, which has been interesting because it's sort of started some competitive tension on the project. So our production has actually increased significantly over the past few months.
Fantastic. And on the corporate side of things, I believe you've made a few additions to your board this year as well, strengthening that.
That's correct. We added 2 independent directors, very high caliber Quebecois individuals. So We added Nick Gendron. She's a securities lawyer, has been working with Amex as our corporate lawyer for a number of years. She's been on the board of several different exploration companies throughout Canada and Quebec as well. And we added Brian Coates, who is the past president of Osisko Gold Royalties and Osisko Mining CFO. So he's very well known in the mining industry. And the two of them, we think, were great additions to the board. Adds a lot of knowledge and some diversity as well, which has been well received by investors in various fund meetings that we've had throughout the year.
So for 2021, lots more news flow on the way, obviously, with your drilling. Are you able to sort of start this drilling straight away? There's no sort of weather impediments?
No, we took a small break over the holidays. Everyone sort of had 10 days off, and they actually restarted the drilling on the 4th. So we've gotten our daily drilling updates from the core shack. Very exciting stuff happening up there. And we're in a great position. No real drilling, no bad periods of the year that we have to actually stop. We take a little break in October because it's the hunting season up in the area of the Abitibi that we're working, and we don't want anyone caught in any crossfire. So we stop for a little bit there, and then we take a small break in the spring as well for a pseudo breakup period where it just gets a little bit sloppy. So we have about a 2-week break there. But it's a road access property. There are no river crossings or anything to get to our drill sites. So theoretically, we can drill 24/7, 365, which is good for both the exploration front and also for future exploitation as well, because you're able to access that throughout the year.
Absolutely. So you've got assays coming back from the labs sort of over the next few weeks, and more drilling core to be going to the labs over the year. It's a very interesting, exciting story, and I can tell from the look on your face that you're obviously really enjoying yourself at the moment. We look forward to hearing more about the project as things develop over 2021. But thank you very much for joining me today, Kelly.
Thank you very much, Leo. I really appreciate it. You have a great night, and we'll chat again soon.
Thank you very much.